All right, I'm live. That's really cool. Hey, everyone. It's Miles from Narcovery, and today what I want to do is just dive into the deep, harsh reality of being in a relationship with a narcissist, a sociopath, psychopath. I'm just going to call them all narcissists just to make it a bit simpler. But there is overlap in all of those things, so it's just something that we all need to be aware of. And the whole thing about living with a narcissist, it's like playing in this rigged game where the rules constantly change and victory is always just out of reach. It kind of feels that way, doesn't it? It's just like narcissists, they thrive on moving the goalposts, sending mixed messages, and then compliments that are like laced with like cruelty. It's just like they say something nice, but it's just like it's not totally nice, is it? This is all orchestrated in order to twist your achievements and to just perceive failures. And these toxic narcissistic environments that are created, they're built on a foundation of what? Yeah, toxic tactics like gaslighting and projection and relentless lies. They're keeping you perpetually like off balance. It feels like you're constantly under their control. And it makes us feel like we're just constantly desperately seeking like this non-existent approval or love or affection from somebody who just doesn't have anything to give us. And in narcissistic relationships, everything is set up to make you doubt yourself and your own worth. And the constant contradiction and emotional turmoil, these aren't accidental. They're deliberate strategies used by narcissists to maintain their power over you. And understanding these, that becomes the very first step towards breaking free and breaking these patterns. And in our recovery, it's kind of like it's my mission, it's our mission to shed light onto these manipulation tactics, because to help you see through the fog of narcissistic deception, and it helps you, recognizing that manipulation, that you can start to reclaim your truth, and you can begin to heal and rebuild your life with just confidence and clarity. And there's something that you may not have known, and that's like narcissists. What happens is they're attracted to people that are actually quite strong, quite powerful, right? This is like a lot of people don't even understand that, because it's like what they do is, they're not drawn to weak people. They actually look for very powerful people, very spiritual people, people that are aware. And then what do? They start to pull strings, right? And they start to micromanage your every move, making you doubt every instinct and emotion that you have. And think about how a narcissist makes you feel in the end. You feel like utterly powerless and depleted, and it's like relentlessly on edge, and desperate to seek their approval no matter what it is. And they do it with just love bombing, and fast forwarding, creating fake promises, future faking, all of these tricks that they use, all meant to just kind of just keep you perpetually stuck in their delusions. And it feels like a steep climb to nowhere. It's like putting a lot of energy into it, but you're not getting anywhere. And that's kind of the frustration that comes out of these toxic dynamics and these toxic relationships, because what it ends up leaving people feeling like after these narcissistic abusive relations are ended, it's just like, what are we left with? Like emotional bankruptcy. And it leaves you questioning like your own worth, and feeling lost, right? um Oops. And the whole thing is like being with a narcissist is kind of like being on a stage of a tragic play, and it's just kind of like cast where you're in a role that you've never chose. And when you're in that role, it's just like it can be very, very difficult. And what do? That you become their source of supply, right? And what does that mean? It means you're just going to be used, you're going to be mistreated, you're going to be torn down, whatever the narcissist kind of feels like it. Well, they throw you breadcrumbs of affection just to keep you, hoping for a real connection. And it becomes a real rude awakening to the reality that these people are not who they seem. And the reality is, surviving a relationship with a narcissist, brings unexpected gifts, right? And some of these gifts are like you learn who you are. And I know it's weird, right? There's a gift through being exposed to all of this. It is. Because what do you get? You get knowledge, you get experience, you get insight, and you become more vigilant, learning to see through the lies and the deceptions, not just from the narcissist, from others too. And, it's like the blinders come off, and suddenly, you can see clearly again. You get to understand the value of having authentic people in your life and the importance of setting boundaries. And you start to recognize your own worth, and the strength that you actually have to overcome narcissism. It's amazing how much courage and how much strength that takes in order to overcome it. You're going to find that courage. You're going to find that strength. And you can imagine, living with a narcissist as being like trapped in this dark, awful place, just a dark place. It's just all twisted and warped, and reality is bent. And every turn that you seem to make leads you to another dead end. And every glimmer of light is just quickly snuffed out by their manipulation. And the constant gaslighting makes you question your own reality, your memories, and even your own sanity. And, you can feel like, you're walking on this tightrope and there's no safety net below. One wrong move and you're going to plummet into narcissistic rage and contempt. And surviving narcissism isn't about, getting through the day. It's about, harnessing the wisdom and the drive that comes from your experience. Because there's nothing more powerful than a survivor that's tapping into their power, that's motivated to change by, the very lives, by the very people, the bullies that tried to take you out. Right? It's like that's where you're going to get your power, because that's where your motivation is going to come from. And it becomes this awakening into your true self. And it becomes a deep dive into your past traumas and the wounds that caused by a narcissist. And it forces us to reevaluate what our core beliefs are and create new ones in their place. And being a survivor of narcissistic abuse shows your resilience and your true strength. Because, thriving isn't about, forcing yourself to heal quickly or pretending that the pain never happened. It's about progress. And no matter how small, because every little step forward is growth. And thriving means, acknowledging that your power and recognizing that you were powerless once. You were. But you can see how the narcissist took your power, and you can also take that power back, because it's your power, it's yours to take back. And it's about holding on to your faith, and faith that things will get better, and they have to. Because even when if you're feeling really at your lowest right now, because when you're at the bottom, where else can you go? Nowhere but up. That's where things go. And thriving after narcissistic abuse, it's about validating your pain and channeling it constructively. It's about replacing unhealthy beliefs with healthier ones. It's a portal to discovering your greatest gifts and your authentic calling. And it's an invitation to join a community of survivors that are all learning and growing and healing in throughout this process. And when you've been in a war zone of narcissistic abuse, you can develop a perspective like no other. You learn to believe in yourself and depend on your own strength. You discover your value is yours. Your value is over your time, and you end up stop wasting it on unworthy people. You learn the importance of self-care and self-compassion and intuition and listening to your inner voice instead of just dark manipulative words of a narcissist that's hell-bent on manipulating you, right? And living with a narcissist is like, being caught in a storm that never ends, a constant barrage of emotional and psychological assaults. It can feel like being just pelted with hailstones, each one chipping away at your sense of self. But just like a tree that kind of bends to the wind, it's just like your resilience grows stronger. And every narcissistic storm that a narcissist throws you in, what does that mean? It means you get to throw your roots even deeper. And you can handle more and more wind, because it's like no matter how hard that wind blows, it's just like you're grounded into yourself. And living with a narcissist is incredibly challenging, and it can feel unfair, and it can cause complex trauma, leaving you feeling like debilitated. It can also, inspire you to reach greater heights. But make no mistake about it, that you did not deserve the pain that was inflicted by a narcissist. You did not deserve it. You have every right to reject the notion that this pain, had a greater purpose. Because this, it's just like you can use your experience to become greater. You have every right to be victorious, because your light is too powerful for any narcissist to extinguish. And you are powerful, even though you may not believe it just yet. But just wait, because it's coming, because this power comes for everybody. And that power is you, like, overcoming the pain of narcissistic abuse. And in the end, this abuse leaves us, with lots of strength, with the drive to live and survive and thrive, with, a renewed mission, something more powerful, more causing a bigger destiny that we're meant to create. And it changed me, making me determined to help others to avoid the same kind of pain, inspire others to begin on their healing journey and validate themselves. That's why I'm like deeply connected to my experiences, what I went through, because it's just like when you're helping other people survive, or, to get through it all, it's like being able to feel each other's pain. It's just like being able to help and understand just the depths that other people have kind of gone through, and knowing because I went through it myself. And your gift from surviving narcissistic abuse, what does it end up in? It lies in your empathy and compassion, for yourself and other survivors that you need to heal. It becomes your ability to reconnect with a part of yourself that wants to not only survive, but to strive and to thrive, and connected with a larger world that's around you. Because you deserve to have your voices told. Right, you deserve to have your stories told, and it becomes like a healing balm for pain, just sharing and caring, because you deserve not only your own compassion but your own gentleness, and the gentleness that says, I'm not, I don't want to be here right now, but I will may not be happy with where I am, but I will get out of this somewhere, sometime, somehow. And and there's a strong will that defines your way, and you will survive and you will thrive, um, because you become the source of your own power. Even if you're crawling on your knees right now, just unsure of the future, uncertain whether you're going to survive at all, know that somewhere down the line you will live for yourself and thrive for yourself, even more powerful than ever. And don't give up hope. Don't be afraid to seek support, both professional support and from other survivors who have been there, because you deserve all the validation and the support in the world. And there are so many different types of different ways that we can get power, that survivors can access power and tap into it whenever we want. And, it's either by going, either if you're enduring narcissistic abuse or recovering from it. And I'm going to share a couple of with them with the hopes that, you can tap into these power sources whenever you feel like it's time to give up. And what you're going to learn is, the power of no contact. And that's really important for survivors in relationships with narcissistic abusers, especially after these relationships ended. Because the power of no contact ends in resisting attempts from your narcissistic partner to hoover you back in, or engaging in emotional non-reactivity. And this isn't always easy, because if you're currently in no contact, and you can't do no contact because your situation is more complex, like if it's a long-term marriage with young children, or a co-parenting situation, there is still a way to do low contact as you begin to detach and extricate yourself from the relationship. And some people have used the gray rock method, and if you haven't used it, I recommend it. And it becomes a great tool. And for many, gray rock successfully helps so many people become non-reactive to their narcissistic partner's provocations, when they had to maintain no contact. And others use their narcissistic partner's silent treatment as just spaces of gaps. If you're in the silent treatment, cool. It's a great space for us to just create self-care moments, the healing moments, and coming together and creating a plan. And I've been through like a lifetime's worth of bullying and abuse, yet somehow I've managed to conquer all of these demons in time, and done it time and time again. And I'm going to give you like 4 ways that I currently practice, something that I call reverse discord, and that's helped me and a lot of my clients successfully, achieve the goals and move forward from toxic relationships and toxic situations. The first one is, talking back to your narcissistic abuser, but doing it in your own mind, not necessarily doing it outwards, because once we do it outwards, it's just like it opens us up to all sorts of different manipulation. And replacing any words that a narcissistic abuser used to disempower you, to replace them with positive ones, more reaffirming ones. And number 3 is, reassigning degrading words from your narcissist into new positive connotations, ones that actually serve you. And number 4 is channeling every terrible thing a narcissistic abuser has said about you into your highest good and the greater good for society. Now, I was just going to go back over some of those again, because talking back to your narcissistic abuser is not about literally confronting them. It's about, countering the ruminations and thoughts of narcissistic abuse that happens in our own mind. And what this does is it helps us kind of reclaim our narrative, to replace negative with positive affirmations, and use every hurtful word as, fuel for your growth. And as many survivors know, verbal abuse from a narcissist doesn't just end with a narcissist, it continues to echo into the minds of the people that are abused. It becomes like an old record that kind of keeps playing in our background, it just keeps spinning. And the words of a narcissistic abuser, they replay in our own mind, making us question ourselves constantly. And, it's like in my mind, I feel like it's the most liberating when I allow myself to just be as uncensored as possible when I think or write down any of the comebacks or any of those things down on a piece of paper, because it becomes possible to, writing creates this safe space, and that's what's possible. And you're going to vent your frustrations freely without the consequences of breaking no contact with your narcissist or subjecting yourself to more abuse. And feel free to release your rage on a page. Narcissists, put that rage on a page because it's better there. And you can create lists of the things that challenge all the negative declarations that these toxic narcissists kind of put into our minds, and they want you to believe. Because creating these reverse discord means, writing down, the concrete accomplishments or the positive feedback that others have given you to counteract, those snide remarks or the abusive comments that you find yourself ruminating over. And here are some ideas that you can use towards implementing reverse discord in your life. You can start by turning everything that your narcissist abuser said to you, make it about them. If they say you're ugly or you're unattractive or you're gross, it's just like write down, how ugly or unattractive or gross that they are on the inside as well as the outside. Did the narcissist say you'll never achieve your dreams? Well, take back in your own mind as you write this down. It's like, just because you haven't achieved your dreams doesn't mean I won't achieve mine, because, big ideas are not suited for small-minded little, nincompooping narcissists just like you, right? Did the narcissist say that you weren't smart enough? Well, tell me you're smart enough to stop spending time with a dumbass, monkey-minded, narcissistic fool like you, right? And it's okay. And when I say it's like it's okay to be harsh, it's like be harsh, be very harsh. Just let it out. Be a badass. Just stop censoring out your own anger, because you're not doing it to them. You're not sharing these thoughts with them. They don't get to know what you're thinking about or feeling anymore. They had that opportunity for a small window and then they abused it. And they don't get to know what you're feeling anymore. They've proven they can't handle it. And the narcissist, they can't hear what you write on a page. So you can write anything you want on a page. Feel free to express yourself in an uncensored way. Connect with your authentic self, your authentic rage, your fighter attitude. As long as you don't act upon these thoughts or break no contact by sending them any part of this new discourse, you're safe to release your anger in a very healthy manner. Attempting to stifle your anger that the narcissist has put on you doesn't help. Neither does forcing yourself to forgive your narcissistic abuser too soon. Actually, it impedes your healing process. Two-word phrases and little word replacements that the narcissist puts on us can be another component of reverse discord. Because what you can do is you can reverse it, like replace some of these abusive phrases that you've heard with new words and new phrases. And whenever they come up in your mind, you can find yourself ruminating over them. You can stop that by just replacing them with something else. And some survivors find, words or phrase replacement jolting at first, because it's just like, yeah, I get it. I am statements. I am beautiful. I am smart. All of these other things. If we start too soon, if we say those things too soon, what ends up happening is that our subconscious will be like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And it can't. So it's just like we can change those things to make it more incremental in order so they can work a little bit better. And you say, I'm getting smarter. I am learning from my experiences. I am getting more and more attractive, and I feel better and more about myself. Before you go on to phrases like I am beautiful, which you are, which you are. You are beautiful. Everyone's beautiful. And it's important that, it's just like, yeah, if we can't go all the way to positive affirmations right away, it's like, let's take a little step and do it a little bit slower. And don't force yourself into extremes. Like if you're not ready for the extremes, then don't go there. Some survivors actually need to have the extremes. And I personally found it helpful when I was creating these kind of the words in my own mind, that it was helping me hear the extremes of the other one. So it's just like if the narcissistic abuser constantly attacked your intelligence, and you can reverse it. Just saying, "What are you talking about? I'm smart as hell, or I'm brilliant." Like those works, and you help balance out those things, and then you can settle somewhere in the middle. And the extra bonus of changing the narcissistic narrative is not only will you begin to silence your narcissistic abuser voice, the one that's kind of stuck in your head, but you'll also begin to voice an even more powerful method of self-talk that will pave the way towards success and confidence in the future, which which is what we all want. At the end of the day, that's what we all want. Whichever way you choose to use this method, to manage the narcissistic criticism that bounces around our head, make sure that it, caters to what you personally feel comfortable. And then this can be, an incremental process. There's no right or wrong way to do reverse discord or reverse the negativity from a narcissist, because it's all about giving previously disempowering words a positive connotation and reframing their meaning. In our society, it's just like, I give you an example. Like in our society, it's just like you can call someone a bitch, right? Like, you bitch. Well, what does bitch also mean? Bitch also means powerful woman, right? It's like, damn right, I'm a bitch, a badass bitch, and proud of it. And I'll give you another example. It's just like, you'd be called a jerk. You're a jerk. You can take that and put it into your mind and just use reverse discord on it and bring it out and make it mean something else. Like, jerk chicken. What is jerk chicken? Jerk. What is jerk? Jerk is the spice that you put on you. What's blander than chicken? Plain chicken, nothing. Nothing's blander than plain chicken, but you put spice on it. It's like all of a sudden, damn right, I'm a jerk. I'm like, I bring more spice into everyone's life, right? I make bland more interesting. It's like, so you can see how we can take these phrases and how we can use them towards our own benefit. And there's no rule that says we can't apply the same principles to, insults from a narcissist. Because if there's a phrase that you need to remodel to serve you and make you feel like that triggers you, then all the power to you. Change those, change whatever that you want. For example, if a female narcissist emasculates you and just says you're not a real man, you're too sensitive, and it's just like, all right, you can take that, pop it into your mind, which would be like, oh, normally it'd be triggering, but you can say, yeah, well, if being a real man means taking your crap passively, sure, not your definition of what a real man is. Proud of it, don't want to do it. Even better, I'm proud of the fact that I can't be a real man anymore. And it's like, yay for me, right? So you can take those things and you can make them into something else. And it's powerful to recognize while, words from a narcissist can be destructive, they can also be taken back and reconstructed and rewritten and remodeled to just revive your power. Because it allows you to channel every terrible thing a narcissist has said about you into your highest good, into your greatest good for society. And it's like, I do this all the time. If a narcissist insults your intelligence, you simply store that away as just an incentive to prove them wrong every single day. If someone tells you you're not capable of something, well, guess what? You can do everything in your power to achieve it. Or you can do something even better. And even better, you can use the words that narcissists try to use to disempower you as actually motivation to empower yourself and take your life back. Because as many survivors of narcissists know, the verbal abuse doesn't just end with the narcissistic abuser, because it echoes into our mind. It kind of follows, it bounces around in there. And these abusive words, they haunt us. And almost like a melody that's kind of playing in our minds on a loop. And for some, it can haunt us day and night. It's like having this broken record that's constantly spinning endlessly, replaying the narcissist's cruel words. In my mind, I find it, most liberating when I allow myself just to be uncensored and honest in very safe places, and allowing my writing down my comebacks and my emotions onto a page. Because writing about your experience with a narcissist can be a safe haven where you can vent your frustrations freely without the fear of breaking no contact. It's unleash your rage onto that page. That's what the page is there for. It sure beats, pursuing literal revenge with a narcissist, which could lead to real life consequences. It's like you may also create a list that challenge all the negative beliefs that narcissistic words and people have said about you. And this is your chance to embrace the power of just positive action, because it's an amazing way to challenge the narcissist's power. When the narcissist stonewalls, you use that silent treatment to raise your voice on platforms with people that actually matter, people that actually listen. Um, and you can use that period to just kind of reconnect with your authentic self and create a place away from narcissistic tactics, a place where you can reset and cherish that beautiful real me time. And remember that you can also stonewall a narcissist, because just by cutting off contact every time that they disrespect you, you can just walk away from toxic arguments and narcissistic provocations. As tough as it may seem tough. It's important to refuse to invest time and energy in narcissistic mind games, and instead invest in yourself. Make yourself the number one priority. You can also use the narcissist tactics against them. You can actually triangulate a narcissist. And it's not to make them jealous or anything like that, but it's by creating a support system that's outside the narcissist influence. of people of genuine people that care and know about you, and who can help you find clarity and support. And sometimes survivors can also, find that they have toxic friends or family members alongside with their narcissistic partner, and they need to detach from these influences as well. Because once you see one narcissist, it's just like you start to see narcissists other places as well, because it's just like they are everywhere, and we have a tendency to track not just one, we tend to track several, all of them using us as supply. And connecting with other of survivors of narcissistic abuse can be a real critical part of your journey, because these narcissistic survivors can, validate your reality, knowing what you've been through and what you're grounding from in order to overcome it. And writing is an incredible tool to reconnect with the reality of your experience with a narcissist. When you begin doubting or second guessing yourself, write to a trusted friend or post on a survivors group or journal about what's actually occurring as it's happening, as it's occurring. And what you find is this helps counter a lot of the false reality that the narcissist tries to just kind of construct and program into our minds. And you can do your best not to feed the narcissist's false self. And I know this is hard, because this is a pattern that we've kind of gone into, and we're talking about changing old patterns. And that's what we need to do, just change old patterns to reconnect to the truth of what the narcissist really is. Remember how they made you feel small and control you. And so when those things happen, like when we feel like we're being sucked in, we can counter any romanticized memories of the narcissist with the actual harsh truth of who they actually are. And remind yourself why you're lucky to be free from this narcissist. When you're free from a narcissist, or at least aware of who the narcissist truly is, when you're with them, because that's also a victory too. And it's also important to go no contact or low contact, or cut ties with toxic narcissists wherever possible. Discarding the narcissist isn't easy. But there are ways of doing it, whether it's detaching slowly while planning an escape, or going cold turkey with a safety plan. Seek new dreams, new goals, new friendships, and give yourself space and time to heal. Because when you're breaking free from narcissistic relationships, you can ask yourself, when was the last time that you actually pursued your own dreams, indulged in your own gifts? Maybe you traveled to a new place. Whatever those things are for you, just go do those things more and more. When was the last time that you just unplugged from the narcissist and just had a relaxing bath, or maybe you meditated? Find sources of healthy supply that won't disappoint or subject you to narcissistic abuse. And these sources will make you feel like you're loved and remind you of your true value. And extreme self-care, this is going to be new for you. I know it's going to sound weird, but it's new for you. It's like extreme self-care is incredibly important to counter narcissistic tactics. And it means that you're asking yourself today, every single day, what is it that I need? And then go and attend to those needs without any excuses. Whether it's taking time to meditate, or traveling to a safe place, or spending time researching your options for help recovering from narcissistic abuse. Extreme self-care is crucial for healing from narcissistic abuse. And healing from narcissism involves, eradicating self-defeating habits and beliefs. And here are like 10 things that narcissists should stop doing right away. Number one, stop listening to unsolicited advice from those people that know very little about trauma, even though they may mean well. Unless people actually understand trauma, the advice that a lot of people give isn't going to be good. Two, stop comparing your journey to others. Your journey is going to be your journey. Three, stop believing that healing comes quickly is a sign of strength, because healing comes at its own pace. Four, stop thinking that you are to blame for narcissistic abuse, because you weren't to blame. Number five, stop thinking how toxic people treated you reflects on your worth, because it doesn't. It has more of a reflection on their low self-esteem and their ego, right? And stop thinking you should be over this by now. It's number six. Number seven, stop believing that minimizing trauma helps heal trauma. Number eight, stop the thinking that you were bad for not forgiving their heinous abuse. Forgiveness, you can actually go through recovery without forgiveness at all. Actually, forgiveness is more important for yourself than it is for them. Nine, stop thinking you are weak for being abused. And 10, stop tolerating people who invalidate your trauma. The journey through narcissistic abuse is like navigating a dense, dark forest, and it can be filled with twisted past and manipulation and cruelty that can leave you feeling lost and alone. But through, powerful insights and dedication to self-care, you can reclaim your life and find your way out. Reverse discord, which I talked about, helps you empower yourself and create the narrative and take the narrative back. Because what is it? There's two versions to every story, right? The narcissist can have their version, but let them have it, but you also have yours. And there isn't a need to connect those two stories together. So you can take back not only the language, and then you can also take back the story and reframing it to serve you better on your healing journey. And this will help with creating transformative words and once hurt you as tools of empowerment. It's just like if they, and once you start to understand and listen to a narcissist, you can actually understand what they actually mean while they're talking, because they could say something like, I hate you. And once you got to put it into your mind through the understanding what it is, what you actually understand is what they're actually saying is, I hate that I'm threatened by your strength and your courage and your resolve. I'm going to smear your name and ruin your reputation because I'm so insecure that I would lie to hide who I am. Right? It's just like that's a little child voice that's in there. That's what I hate you actually means. Right. And because it's not about embracing the narcissistic abuse, but it's reclaiming your power from it. And, the power of opposite actions also teaches us to turn narcissistic tactics on their head. You know, when they try to silence you, it's like this is a great opportunity to raise your voice with other people that are ready to listen. When they try to silence you and disrespect you in some way, you can always walk away, because it's like invest in yourself and build a support network that uplifts you and strengthens you. And writing down your experience with a narcissist becomes a sanctuary where you can reconnect to your reality. Journaling your experience helps to just counter all false, narratives that the narcissist tries to impose, because it's about grounding yourself in the truth and validating your own journey. And extreme self-care is your lifeline when, escaping narcissistic abuse. And whether that's, meditating or traveling or simply just taking moments to breathe, it's amazing how important just regular breathing is. That self-care reminds you of your worth and helps you heal, because it's about asking yourself daily, what is it that you need tending to, that you don't have to make excuses for anymore. So we're going to start eradicating self-defeating beliefs that we use to survive narcissistic environments. This becomes crucial. Survivors of narcissistic abuse often carry guilt and self-blame, but it's important to recognize that the abuse was never your fault. It was never your fault. Embrace your journey and do it at your own pace. And remember that healing isn't a race. Connecting to other survivor communities with narcissistic abuse, it provides a sense of community and validation, because you're not alone in this journey. And sharing your stories and supporting each other, helps build resilience and fosters belonging. And in this journey of recovery from narcissism, remember that your pain can become your power, and every step that you take towards healing is a testament to your own strength and your own resilience. And you have the ability to turn pain into purpose. You do, because you're using your experiences to help others to also grow stronger. And to every survivor of narcissistic abuse who's watching this right now, thank you. Thank you, because you know that your journey is a testament to your incredible strength. And the path through narcissistic abuse, yeah, it's fraught with pain and challenges. I wish it wasn't, but it is. But it's also a journey of profound self-discovery and empowerment, because every day that you choose to move forward, you're reclaiming your life from narcissistic manipulation. And remember that, you're not defined by the abuse that you endured. You're not, but you're defined by the strength and resilience you've shown in the face of it. And this is your story. This is your story of courage, your story of rising above and finding your own light. So embrace the journey of narcissism recovery and honor your pain as you're going through it. Know that you have the power to create a future that's filled with hope and possibility, because, in the end, you deserve love. You deserve validation. You deserve support, in the real world. So keep striving, keep thriving. Never let anyone, especially emotionally stunted narcissists, ever dim your light, because your journey is not just about surviving. It's about flourishing and becoming the best version of yourself. So stay strong, stay empowered, keep shining. For those people that don't know who I am, my name is Miles, and I'm so glad that you watched this video. Please like, please follow. I've got 1,300 videos out there that I'm happy to share with you. And if you're looking for one-on-one support, you can find more information about my programs and who I am on narcovery.com, and we can take it from there. All right, yeah, we got red flags here. Yay! Hey. Yeah, they do snare us like the devil. Yeah, you witness it today, and that's the whole thing about narcissism. It's just like now that you're witnessing it, it's like things are changing, right? Your life is changing. You're being able to witness it, and the whole thing is like with this cognitive recovery, with the purpose of all my videos and all of those other things, it is to help people just kind of to grow and to learn, because it's like if you could label those tactics and if you can see those tactics, then you can create different defense strategies, and you actually change the dynamic. And in changing the dynamic, you're actually changing yourself. So it becomes a very powerful thing. See what other comments there are. If there's anyone that's got comments, let me know. And yeah, feel detached like a parasite leaves the host and morphs into an energy vampire. Yeah, they do feel like parasites. What do they do? They actually prey on what? They prey on um, the effects of us, right? They prey on our energy. I love the term energy vampires. It's neat that you actually use the word parasite, because it does feel like, it's just kind of like a cancer, like a tumor, and it just kind of grows and grows and grows and grows. And its goal is to kill the host, unless we escape, unless we set boundaries, unless we do all of these things. It's like people that get joy and pleasure from hurting other people, it's just like wow, it's that's really hard to do. But yeah, thank everyone who kind of who's watching and who came forward. If you have any comments, you want me to comment on anything, just feel free to just kind of throw it in the comments right now. And I do hope this was helpful. I do hope this inspired you. And yeah, keep watching my feed. You know more about me. And and thanks. I'm gonna sign off. But a pleasure as always.